welcome back. This is week 2 of SteezBros podcast. We're here to recap the Steelers versus the Raiders and the first home game of the season. With me tonight is SteezBros number 2, Josh Gelfand. How are you, Josh?
I'm doing good. Would be doing better if the Steelers played better.
Yep, same here. And with us again, we have another person from the city of brotherly love. We got the original extra SteezBro, Dave Sherbo. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing great. All I got to say is thank God I got whiskey to get over that game yesterday.
Take your shot. Quit complaining.
Now we get down to it.
So the Steez go to 1-1. The letdown that many saw coming came to fruition. We always seem to struggle with the Raiders, and it was the same story this weekend. So
yeah, if you didn't bet the Raiders on this one, you haven't been watching the Steelers for the last 10 years.
Easy money.
Seriously, even if you thought the Steelers were going to win, there's no way they were going to cover a 6.5 point spread against the Raiders.
See, I saw that spread and I kind of thought, they're begging people to take the Steez, but
totally. Well, I mean, I think Vegas knows the Steez, and they know they can bank on people to bet the Steez with big lines like that, because for some reason we have still the reputation that we're some juggernaut team that comes out and wins these kind of games, when clearly, like I said, if you've been watching this team for the last 5 or 10 years, this is exactly the kind of game we lose.
Yep. Every time.
Am I right? Are we gonna
well, we do the Tomlin play good against the Bills, and then we have the Tomlin play crappy against the Raiders. But are the Raiders for real this year?
No.
I don't think the Raiders are ever going to be for real. I mean,
Carr's played pretty good the first 2 games. Their defense isn't that bad. I mean, they got probably the second or third best tight end in the league with Waller. If Josh Jacobs is there, they have a good running back. Ruggs is like a, Olympic sprinter. They have some weapons.
I mean, that's a team that's not going to win more than 7 or 8 games, in my opinion. They might start hot and catch fire earlier in the year, but I mean, down the stretch, I don't see how they're going to win games. And look at their division too. They're not going to win that division.
No, they're definitely not. I mean, the Chiefs, the Chargers are looking pretty good this year, and I think the Broncos are going to be better than expected.
And Broncos are 2-0. Along with the Raiders, the only 2 AFC teams that are 2-0. But I don't know. I feel like we've seen this before. The Raiders I think John Gruden's a good offensive coach, but their defense is normally awful. They let up a bunch of points to the Ravens, and they didn't let up many to us because our offense is one of the worst in the league. So, I don't really think, unless our defense is on point, we've got chances to win many games. So the Raiders, and don't take it away, Derek Carr made some awesome plays, but half of our defense got hurt. Our offense sucks. So I'm with Sherb. I mean, I think I could see them being like around 500 team, but I don't really see them as one of the top teams in the league that we lost to because they're great. I just think it's classic Steelers letdown. I think our offense is going to be awful. And because of that, unless the defense plays perfectly, we don't have many recipes to win.
Yeah, well, you saw what the Steelers are going to be this year. They're going to go as far as their defense will take them this year. And when you have 2 starters already out and you lose 2 more, one in your best player on the field, there's no way that they can compete in games because their offense cannot score and they cannot carry the team. There is no way that the offense can score when needed or can put together drives to sustain games. And as you've said, Josh, we're going to be around a 500 team. Tomlin will get another not losing season, and we'll get a crappy draft pick, and it'll be is pretty much the same as last year. I just don't see this team, the way they're constructed, especially on offense, being able to do too much more. They're just way too limited.
And if you like all this optimistic Steeler talk that you're hearing, why don't you subscribe to the channel or give us a thumbs up?
Yep.
And like the show and, tune into more. We did a season preview 2 weeks ago. If you want to hear our thoughts, what the Steez are going to be like before the season, go ahead. I'll put the link up here. You can click it. And we recapped the awesome win last week. If you want to hear really in depth of everything that happened in that game, or you can listen to us, shit on the Steelers for the next 20 minutes on this week. So let's get into the first. But so pretty surprising to me. I was in the car and I got a text from you guys that said Hayden and Bush were out before the game even started. That totally came out of nowhere. I had no idea that was coming. Was that a surprise to you, Josh?
Yeah, I mean, I saw that they showed up on the Friday injury report as questionable, and who the heck knows what happens there. I didn't realize that they were injured, and it sounds like they got injured on Friday. I kind of expected them to play, but so seeing them both out, yeah, that was a bit of a surprise. And obviously our defense is the strength of the team, and we don't have much depth in the secondary. So that was a bit of a surprise. I still don't really know what happened during the week, but
well, they pulled their groin.
they pulled their groin along with TJ Watt. Everyone's pulling groins.
We need a new groin coach.
We got the
groins on this team.
We got the groin gang going. I mean, yeah. Watt pulls his groin.
Right.
Anyone else hurt their groin? Josh hurt his groin.
I had a tough weekend with my groin. So.
Well, and what do you think about TJ's? Because is there something to be said about the fact that he was holding out so long, didn't play any meaningful practice or preseason, then plays a good game, and all of a sudden yanks his groin?
Yeah, he's probably.
Is there anything to be said about that at all, or is that just total coincidence?
It's hard to tell. I mean, Devin Bush and Joe Hayden played did every practice and pulled their groins, but
sure.
Any soft tissue injury after not practicing and not being in football shape is definitely suspect. Well, I mean, at least on the plus side, it sounds like it's not supposed to be major. It could play next week, and but who the heck knows? We all know groins linger.
They definitely linger. Once that groin goes, you never know.
It's repeated groin. Hey, another Aaron Jones touchdown. What a day.
Was that is that number 4 or is that 3?
Number 4.
Oh wow. Huh.
It was a rushing one though.
Might have to check the updates. Yep. Still winning.
Fantasy alert. Thank you for the Aaron Jones fans. 4 teddies.
Look, I was surprised.
4.
I was surprised that both those guys were out too. Thanks for asking me about that, Elliot, too.
Well,
I was surprised both of them were out too.
Well, I didn't get to you.
Earlier.
You jumped in, so I didn't need to throw it to you.
Well, and look, Bush being out, I'm not that worried about. Hayden being out is a big loss. That's a big loss for that defense. Because then you have Justin Lane and Pierre playing cornerback, playing meaningful snaps.
Well, and Sutton.
And you saw how that worked out.
Not well for those who didn't watch.
Hey, we shut down Waller.
I mean, did we?
Yeah. Pretty much.
I don't know. I saw a lot of. We might have shut down Waller. He still made some big catches.
Yeah.
I don't think we covered tight ends very well.
No.
And their other tight end even caught some big passes.
You can't put a linebacker on a massive tight end, no matter who he is.
So who do you put on him? Then?
I don't know, but every time we have a linebacker on him, we get destroyed.
Don't disagree. Schobert was the best covering linebacker I've seen in a Steelers uniform for a while, and even he had problems.
Yeah, you take off a linebacker and put in. I don't even know what.
So what's the answer? You bring
Justin Lane.
Yeah, Justin Lane.
You bring Minka down and have him just
that. Well, who was that new guy we signed from or traded for from Seattle?
Yeah.
He got toasted on that Ruggs touchdown. We can get to that play later, but
I can't wait to discuss it.
It's not. No, I just told you that.
It's
man, this is live. Trying to get people to watch live. I told her it's recorded.
It's live to tape.
Really, I have Jordan here.
Jordan.
Yes.
Did you survive?
Jordan secretly stalking you.
Did you survive Pittsburgh?
Looks like you need to charge your phone.
Yes.
Thanks, Josh. Or you have
Captain August.
New emails in your inbox.
Oh, I can't handle that. All right.
We're gonna edit me, Jordan, now.
This isn't the Big Brother podcast.
Okay.
We'll edit that out.
Anyway, yeah, I'm not. What were Waller's stats? I don't even know them off the top of my head.
I think he had like 5 for 65 or something.
Yeah.
I think if you told me we would do that, I'd take it all day. Like
Right.
we struggle, but it obviously came like the big play that we gave up to Ruggs for the touchdown after we got close was because Minka jumped Waller's route. Like it's clear that was the focus, and like you have to. There's offsets that come with that, and credit to Carr, he made an incredible throw, but like we keyed on Waller. He's still got some of his, not as much as before, but it comes with a price, and we've got Justin Lane and Justin Pierre and
5 for 65.
Kilo Witherspoon covering these other guys, and they're giving up plays, and
You can't cover everybody on the field.
No.
So, and not for nothing, again, TJ's out. Our pass rush was nowhere to be found after he left.
Well, losing Alalu is a huge loss for us too, especially if Tuitt's out.
That's way huge. That's actually probably the one story about this game that nobody's talking about that might affect us more than anything.
Yeah, they're gonna have to. We'll probably bring somebody in. But on a positive note, Ingram is a beast.
Ingram's looking solid. We'll see if he can make it through the year. I think Kai Smith's been promising. Yeah, I don't think we adjusted much.
Oh God,
I think we took last week's game plan and just said, hey, throw 4 guys out there, and we took TJ Watt and Alu off of the 4 guys, and like. Again, credit to the Raiders. They had a good plan. They knew what to do, which is spread us out 5 wide, throw quick passes, hit a bomb now and then. Like even our guys were winning 1-on-1, but we couldn't sack them. We didn't get many sacks because they just spread us out and guys were open quickly because we couldn't cover. Would have loved to seen a couple adjustments and bring some pressure or do something different, but it just seemed like we were happy to let them pick us apart. And Derek Carr made the right reads. Again, credit to him, but. Didn't see much in the way of adjustments even after we lost some key guys early in the game.
No, we didn't blitz them, and we couldn't get any pressure with just 4 like we did against the Bills.
Yeah, we also couldn't score. I don't know if you guys have noticed. We got to put points up in the game.
We're gonna get to that.
How many points did we have in the first half?
I don't
3? Did we
7?
even score in the first
3?
half?
We scored a touchdown.
Dude, this offense disappears for entire halves of games.
We're the worst rushing team in the league. What is our game plan?
No idea.
What is our game plan? Because
get it out of Ben's hand as fast as possible.
Okay, but if the arm strength is like we're not throwing downfield, we're not throwing over the middle. But if arm strength is the issue, why are we throwing like outs and sideline routes? Like if you have arm strength issues, you don't throw outs and stuff to the sideline because they can't get it there. He can get it there. So what is the aversion to the middle of the field?
I mean, it's been going on for a while. I don't know if Ben can't handle it, if our scheme is all built around Ben not feeling comfortable throwing in the middle of the field, but
or do we not have receivers that can go downfield? Like
my opinion is that Ben and the receivers are not on the same page enough to be able to make those kind of reads and make those kind of throws.
Oh, for the love of God.
I mean, why would you not think that? Him and Deontay clearly are on the page certain times. Claypool's 8 targets, 3 catches. He does not trust Claypool. They don't have any vertical passing game. No. They don't have chemistry. And because of that, Ben is not letting them call plays where they're throwing those kind of throws. It's either a 5-yard pass or a bomb, which is about a 20% play for us right now, if that.
Like a 25-yard bomb.
Yeah, I mean, I'm obviously not an offensive coach, but it's clear that our scheme sucks. Like, I don't know one thing that it does well. Like, name the last time that we've schemed somebody open because we ran a good schemed play. We love on 3rd and short. We love to throw it deep just for a contested catch. But that's pretty much the only time Ben throws the ball down the field is just 1-on-1, heave it up and hope your guy makes a play. It's not because we got a good route on or a receiver toasted somebody because we've got a good good spacing or good anything. Like we don't do anything well in the run game. Like I don't know how you're possibly as bad at running the ball as we can be. Like there's just no scheme that helps anyone in our offense. And it's like it was clear last year. It's been clear for a while. Like Ben is done, man. He is like he's still got a little bit of intelligence, and when you give him some freedom, he can make some plays. And that's pretty much the only time our offense works is we get behind and we finally just say, okay, Ben, figure it out. But like he is not old Ben. That's not coming back for accuracy, for arm strength, for ability to get us into good plays. And like it all works together. Our offensive line isn't great, but it's clear that Ben can't move, and that's limiting every part of our offense. And I don't think there's any fix coming here. So it's going to be a fun season, and we need that defense to get back on the field just to get to 500.
But you touched on the perfect issue, Josh. If that's the case and you got a QB like that, why not try to out scheme somebody or out game plan somebody? Isn't that the move if you're limited like that? Like you have some playmakers, like our guys aren't terrible. Like why can't we figure out a way? Like you watch these teams, like even the Patriots with Mac Jones and no weapons really, somehow they figure out a way to get guys in space, get blockers out in front of them, and move the ball. And it feels like every time we watch this offense, they're forcing the same crap down someone's throat and hoping it works, and it's not working. It's maddening.
I don't think we have coaches that are very good at like, I don't. We had Randy Fiechner for multiple years and watched the most boring offense making the dumbest plays and the dumbest design. And what we did was keep all of that, but change coordinators. It's not, I can't remember the last time the Steelers have had any sort of young, promising coach doing good things on the X's and O's side. And for all the good qualities Tomlin brings, I don't think he brings a big advantage when it comes to scheming, especially not on offense. When's the last time we had a coach that any other team in the league was interested in? So we don't have coaches.
Yeah.
And our players can't do it.
The point being is it's clear Tomlin needs really good coordinators and really good coaches around him to take care of those parts of the game for him. Look at the best years we've had. So even with Arians, even though for everything Arians was when he was there, we had great offenses. Todd Haley produced great offenses for us. When we had Jesus Christ, I'm blanking on the guy's name. The offensive line coach.
Russ Grimm?
No, freaking
Munchak?
Munchak.
Yeah. Look at all the great coordinators. When we have those in place, we typically have a team that can go that far. When Tomlin doesn't have that, and he's left the guys like Fichtner and Canada, I mean, what do we have? I mean, those aren't guys that can produce for us. It just doesn't work.
1 week in and the motion was gone already.
Well, yeah, and I have a question for you guys. How much do you think is Canada, and how much do you think is that just Ben telling Canada what plays he wants to play, what he's comfortable with, and Canada basically being like, okay, this is the only stuff we can run? I mean, what do you guys think about that?
I mean, I think Canada, based on his history, left to his devices, he's running a bunch of motion and all sorts of other things. The question, it really for me is maybe even a little bit less of like Ben is demanding this versus like Ben is awful doing play action and isn't comfortable turning his back to the field. Ben can't walk 5 feet or maneuver a pocket or can't give anything if it's out of structure anymore because of, he's almost 40 and he's taken a million hits in his career and he just doesn't have the Tom Brady lifestyle to continue that. Like most people who are turning 40 can't do it. But I think we're stuck because I don't think Ben can do much. Our backups are worse than him. So you're like, what can he do? Read the defense quickly and get it out of his hands. So we run 4-yard routes. But I still think there's more that can be done. It seems like Freiermuth has some potential over the middle. Like Juju, we took a guy who was dominant in his first 2 years and turned him into Ryan Switzer, like throw 2-yard routes to him. Like I think there's all sorts of limitations, but I still don't think there's anything in this scheme that is worth keeping.
Well, and why can't we run the ball? Like,
well, the offensive line sucks.
Right, but I mean, the offensive line was a lot different last year. We still couldn't run.
I don't understand why we don't go. Why don't we go run up tempo? Because that seems that Ben's most comfortable when we do good.
I think that's a great call.
I don't know.
I think there's I'd like to see it more. My guess is, my guess is that they know that they need to give the defense a break. The defense is where the talent is. They know the offense isn't going to sustain. And you go up tempo and go quick up tempo 3 and out, then you're just putting the defense on the field again. Now we're going 3 and out down tempo, so you're only saving them like 40 seconds. So I don't really know that there's that much risk. But if I were to guess, the rationale is they want to have some longer drives, keep the defense fresh because that's where their talent is. But it's certainly not working out for him, and it seems like Ben's more comfortable in up tempo, calling his own stuff. And moving the offense along.
That's a good point, Josh. That's actually a really good point. And, it's clear Tomlin trusts the defense and will, a la the 4th and 1 play that you guys hated so much, will do whatever it takes to put his defense in a position to try to win the game more than his offense.
Yeah, but you got to first, I don't understand how they could see like this ban in training camp and practice and think, oh, this is going to work.
The time to make that call was long before training camp, and
after last year, they obviously saw what was happening.
Yeah, well, but they also saw what they have behind them, and like for good or for bad, the Steelers are always going to try to maximize the upcoming season, and for as bad as Ben is right now, Mason Rudolph is worse, and so is Dwayne Haskins. So what do you do? The time to get rid of him was 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And start, you have a chance to draft Lamar Jackson. You have a chance to get a top 10 pick, and then you trade it away immediately for Minkah Fitzpatrick. And don't get me wrong, Minka's been awesome. He's a stud who will pay and will form the backbone of future teams. But like, no one can convince me that if we did not trade for Minkah, we would have been 500. Like we went 500. Like I am convinced we would have went 5-11 or 6-10. We would have had a top 5 pick, and we could have had our pick of Tua or Justin Herbert. And knowing the Steelers, they would have liked Justin Herbert better because they like big guys with big arms. Like that's my alternate reality is we don't trade for Minkah, and then we have a chance for Herbert. Now, knowing our team, we would have passed him up because we thought Ben had more life left. And who knows? I'll go back to the list of people who were drafted. We would have taken a middle linebacker or something.
Jarvis Jones.
Yeah, but so the time is, the time was 3 years ago to make a transition, and now they're just trying to not have a losing season.
This is the team you live and die with. I mean, for better or for worse.
Oh, yeah.
This is what they do.
I mean, we're fairly privileged to watch this team. I mean, they haven't had a losing season for God knows how many years, 15 years or whatever. We've seen.
Yeah. I can't
3 Super Bowl appearances.
I can't get behind the we're just not losing thing anymore. Like at some point, it's got to like.
Yeah, it does, but it's like we could be the Jets.
Right.
Yeah.
But at the same point, the Steelers' aura is like it feels like it's fading a little bit. We haven't really done anything for 8 years. When was the last time we won a playoff game?
Yeah,
2013.
Yeah, in one of my other legendary betting mishaps, I forgot to hedge my Steelers winning the Super Bowl when they were playing the Browns in the playoffs last year, and I knew they were going to lose. But as bad as the offense looked and all the injuries we had on defense, the Steelers still had a chance to win this game. They cut it to a 2-point. Was it 2-point? 16-14.
16-14.
And take us through what led up to the 4th and 1, Josh.
I don't remember.
Oh, for the love of God. You're the analyst there. What
Can
was
have-
it?
All
we
I
have
know
some
is we
video?
got the 4th and 1. No, so
Dude,
it's 16-14, and that's
There's-
when
there's-
Carr hits the bomb to Ruggs on 3rd down, I'm pretty sure. So that takes us to 23-14.
Yeah.
We get the ball back, and there's less than 10 minutes left. We run 3 plays, we get to 4th and 1, and Tomlin.
What
sends
yard
the
line were
punter
they
out.
on?
I think we're on our own, call it 30 to 40. We're not
It
in
was
good.
like the
We're not in good
32. It
field.
was like 32, 33.
Was there
Yeah,
9
we're-
minutes left or 6 minutes left at that point?
I think there was 6 minutes
Yeah,
left.
I think
but
there
we
was
can-
6
we can
minutes
check
left.
that. But essentially, you're down 2 scores at this point. You can say I've got faith in my defense to make a stop, which they did make a stop. But the problem is if you give up a 4th and 1 opportunity and punt it, you have to play perfectly the rest of the way. You need to get a 3 and out. You need to get the ball back and score. You need to get another 3 and out. Then you need to get the ball back and score again.
With our best defensive players injured.
With our best defensive players injured, having been on the field most of the game, not having a great record in this game of getting 3 and outs. Even when we stopped them, they were moving the ball. So you're basically narrowing your path to victory. And you can say, well, I've got faith in my defense and I don't have faith in my offense. No matter what, you have to have your offense score twice. So you cannot win this game unless your offense scores twice. So you have to have some sort of faith in your offense. And you need 1 freaking yard.
If they weren't idiots and would sneak it, Ben should be able to get that every time, like Justin Herbert did. Because he's 6'5".
You really want to let Ben sneak it? I mean, he's getting destroyed in there.
Oh, forgot. I don't care what they do. Just run a play.
I don't care. Throw one of your 25 plays where all your receivers run 2 yards. All we need is one gosh darn yard here.
Well, knowing them, they run a play where they run a half-yard route, get tackled short of the line.
For sure.
Come on, you guys really trust them to get a yard?
Are you saying they should have?
I think they should have went. I agree with you, but let's play it the other way.
They should have punted.
Let's say they go for it and they don't get it.
Then what? So what? They go for it, they don't get it. They still have to hold the Raiders to a 3 and out, which
so you're
gets
giving
them
up
a
at least a
field
field goal,
and you're still down 2 scores. Now it's a 2 touchdowns instead of a touchdown.
Right, but isn't it a lot easier for the Raiders to get a touchdown other than throwing a 67-yard bomb to Ruggs?
It doesn't even matter. The Raiders just need 2 first downs and the game is over in either of these scenarios. It's just about time left and maximizing your opportunities. I'm not saying any of these are high opportunity chances for the Steelers to win. This is just strategic decision making, and it's not even a strategic decision on 4th and 7 where you don't feel great about getting it. It's a strategic decision on 4th and 1. And I'll go back to the Browns playoff game, which thank God I had turned off the game by now, or I would still be having nightmares about this, where the Steelers are trying to make a comeback. It's the 4th quarter. They've been down all game. They finally have some momentum. They get to 4th and 1 and Tomlin punts it again. And the Browns go down and score and the game's over. These are.
What happened to we don't live in our fears, Tomlin?
These aren't even be on the edge, cutting edge of analytics decisions. These are basic 4th and 1 decisions that you're giving your team the best chance to win. And we get it wrong over and over again.
What happened
So here's what it comes down to. Either Tomlin is a terrible coach when it comes to that kind of decision making, or
no doubt
he sees our offense every single day of every single week, and he thinks they are terrible, and he thinks they're even more terrible than we see them as being. So it's one of those 2 things. And I'm not saying I'm picking one of them. Those are the 2 legitimate outcomes of that happening. Either he sucks or he sees our offense and he says, these guys are fucking horrible and I can't trust them to get 1 stinking yard. Go ahead and bleep that, Elliot.
Mike Tomlin is better at his job than I'll ever be at any of my jobs. He's made it farther than almost every head coach in league history. But the guy goes by his gut, and his gut's taken him a long way, and it's gotten him to success in a job that's incredibly difficult to get success in. However, his gut is not a strategic decision maker. We can go back years to when he was just randomly going for 2 You never knew when or why.
That was fun.
There's
Well, I like that
there was
better.
no,
Like,
like there was
You
no
remember-
analytical reason for why
remember
he would
that?
do it sometimes and
When
not.
they changed the rule and he was just like, "Hey, let's try it out."
But so,
at least he was taking a risk. Then now he's like
but he is like
crawled into a hole.
Well, that's
He's a
also
big-
when we had AB and Lev too.
Yeah. But he's a defensive coach at heart. He always thinks his defense can get a stop. But like these are not, to me, like thought out decisions if this is what like makes sense strategically, will give us the best chance to win over the long term. This is Tomlin on Sunday saying, I don't feel like I can get a yard. Let's punt it away. This isn't like, again, I just talked through all of the things that have to happen. I don't think that's happening. I think he's saying, I feel good about my defense. We'll get a stop and we'll make it happen. And the truth of the matter is Ben has bailed him out a number of times where he's made dumb decisions like this that I think decrease the chance of winning. But we've always had good and talented players and have been competitive. And like the thing that he's great at is the can't quit spirit, like team believes. So we always, even when we fall behind, come back. Even when we get ahead, we let teams into it. Like he's incredible at the stuff that happens before game day on Sunday. But to me, he's one of the bottom 5 coaches in the league on game day Sunday. He is awful at time management, awful at any sort of situational decision, and repeatedly hurts the team on Sunday.
I don't disagree with you at the same, and this is why I come back to my point about him needing to have a good offensive coordinator. Because if he has a good offensive coordinator, that offensive coordinator can maybe at least talk him into and trusting the fact that they'll call the right play in that situation to get that yard. Because what play do you think they would call in that situation? I mean, I don't trust they're even going to call the right play in that situation. They're going to do something totally ridiculous, like, hey, let's throw a bomb to Claypool, who catches 3 of 8 balls, and try to go for it all. And if I saw that play on 4th and 1, I'd be like, yeah, that pretty much makes sense for what they're going to do right now. Yeah, and they can't run it. You know they can't run it. They can't run on 4th and 1.
I don't have a lot of confidence in the play. It doesn't matter though, because all it does is mean you got to get a harder 4th down later in the game, or be perfect on defense just to get there. So it's just about looking at the variance and the different paths that this game could take. And like, even if you feel shitty about 4th and 1, for goodness sakes, it's 4th and 1. Like, you're not going to get an easier one. It's just going to be harder later in the game. And we stopped them. We got a score, and then we got a chance to stop them again, and we couldn't. We let up 2 first down. But that's the thing. In either of those 2 series, if you let up 2 first downs, the game's over. So, if you go earlier, then maybe you've got an extra 2 minutes on the clock and you get another chance to stop them. I don't know, but I beat this to death. It's just an awful, awful in-game decision that we see over and over again. And I think it's why, like, I can't ever see Tomlin win another Super Bowl with the Steelers. Like, he's always going to keep the team competitive. I think we've got to the point where like everybody would be best served to move on. I know that we'd likely end up with a worse coach, but I also don't think our current coach has adapted to where the game is today, that we could take on a top team and do that 4 times in a row and win a Super Bowl.
That's a hard realization. That is a hard realization. And again, I don't disagree with the sentiment. I think the only way it happens though is if there's really, really good coordinators around him. Yeah. That's the only way it happens, especially a good offensive coordinator. Because like you said, he's a defensive coach. He doesn't think about offense. He goes with his gut. He's not playing the percentages. He's not putting his team in a high percentage chance to win the game strategically. So unless we're scoring 30 points a game with some teared up offense, there's no way he's going to trust them in that situation. It just sucks.
The Rooneys aren't going to fire him.
No, of course not. But that doesn't mean I can't say what I've been saying for the last 5 years, which he doesn't give us the best chance to win anymore. And I can't see us keeping up with the top teams and the top coaches that are doing those kind of things. Like, I think most of the teams in the league, the top teams now, have a coach that brings a sustainable advantage to the team, and it's almost always X's and O's. And like you look at Kyle Shanahan, you look at Sean McVay, you look at Andy Reid, you look at lots of examples like that. And their team, they're Sean Payton, like they're every year their team has an advantage because they're on the cutting edge of scheme and making good decisions for their team. And the only one that like comes to mind that isn't bringing that is John Harbaugh, who almost always has a coordinator who is up for a head coaching job.
Yeah.
Like does a good job staying on the cutting edge and making sure that they're making good decisions and doing certain things that, like, again, when is the last time we had any coach that somebody was interested in poaching?
Munchak.
Yep.
Yep.
Offensive line coach. Like none of our coordinators. I mean, some of our coordinators are retreads.
And he didn't get ahead. He
Well,
didn't get it.
We fired Bruce Arians. Now he's winning Super Bowls in Tampa Bay. People did want Todd Haley, but he's a psychopath.
That's true. But I
Munchak didn't take a head coaching job.
yeah, Munchak just wanted to get away from us.
Ted Wisenhunt got hired by Arizona.
That was like how long ago was that?
Yeah, well, when we had the bus, which is what we need right now for picking up 4th and 1.
I mean, it's pretty clear that the defense at this point is coordinated by Tomlin. Like, if not, there's no reason we would have kept Butler through some of those lean years. So like, whatever, let him run the defense. I've got issues on that side of the ball, but you know, they've been by far a strength the last couple of years. But they have to. I was gonna say they have to blow it up. Like they have to blow up the whole offensive side of the ball. The defensive side of the ball is in pretty good shape for years to come. Like, and we're spending a ton of money there. I just don't think we're gonna have anything on the offensive side to be balanced enough to take advantage of that window. And we haven't even tried to start looking. Like we just keep kicking the can down the road. And next year we'll have Mason Rudolph starting with Dwayne Haskins backing him up. And I'd be willing to bet that we see both of them for a number of games because they're both awful. It'll be the Duck Hodges, Mason Rudolph show all over again.
Dude,
Well, if our defense is banged up and our offense is this bad all year, we might be like 4, and because with our schedule, we might be pretty bad. So maybe we can get. I don't know who the top quarterbacks coming out are, but
This year, oh,
maybe
for goodness sakes, all the defensive guys are coming back. We'll sneak out some wins we shouldn't, and we'll go 8-9 or 7-10 or 10-7. Like I'm not down on the team in terms of like just falling off and being bad enough that we get a top pick, because I think our defense is still
it's good, but we can't
awesome. Like
we can't score.
We can't, but we could. Like we had Duck Hodges and Mason Rudolph
Right.
quarterbacking our team, and we finished 8-8. Like our
I know.
defense is better now than it was back then. Like
you're going to have Mason Rudolph quarterbacking this team by week 5, I guarantee it. You see Ben keep getting hit like that every single week, there's no way he's finishing the season. No way. Dude, he got knocked around. How many times did you see him on the ground?
We'll start throwing even shorter passes to make sure he doesn't get hit anymore.
Honestly, at this point, this might sound crazy. I'm actually convinced the offense with Mason Rudolph could be better than what it is with Ben right now. Because it was atrocious.
I mean, maybe the line's just so bad they don't want to.
How, dude? The line is terrible. But we had a good line supposedly on paper last year, and we were doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, and this.
But we won the first 11 games. We weren't.
Right.
I mean,
and we couldn't run the ball, and that caught us. That bit us in the ass later. This year, we're supposed to have a rededication to running the ball. We dropped the #1 draft pick when a running back, and Najee. We have a new offensive line head coach, which to me is just some retread bum who isn't anybody. And we're supposed to be trying to run the ball, and I don't see us running the ball at all.
well, we got a bunch of guys
last year.
We got a bunch of guys that have never played, that are rookies, that are
okay. So last
they
year
never
we
played
had a
together.
bunch of last year we had a bunch of all-pro dominant supposedly guys, and we ran the same crap and still couldn't get any running lanes.
They were bums.
So what's the difference? It looks
I
like
don't
the same offensive line to me.
Sure, if you're telling me that the plan to fire the guys who put together the offense, but promote their assistants who weren't as good as them was not a foolproof plan.
It comes back to what I've been saying. I think this whole podcast is that Tomlin needs to have really good coordinators around him, especially on the offensive side, if we're going to do anything as far as scoring. Because yes, you're right. That's literally called insanity. Hey, this guy. But But Klum's really physical. I heard he's a physical guy. Zone blocking. Yeah. All right. Great.
I'm
Where's
willing
that
to
kid?
I'm willing to give them a chance to gel
How long are you going to give him?
till midseason.
My like again, I think they should gel and get better. Like I think Dan Moore and Kendrick Green have some promise.
Yeah.
I think Dotson was our best offensive lineman last year and is still around.
He was
Like,
all right.
I think they can gel. My issue is like, even if they gel, we're still going to be running 2-yard routes. And like, we went 11-0 last year because we made some timely plays. We played an awful schedule. We had a good defense. But around midseason, everyone realized we're only throwing 3-yard passes or one-on-one bombs, brought everyone up. Like, we started out the year running the ball decently well last year when we were doing some of the motion stuff.
Yeah.
And then I don't even know who was it, James Conner. Like these guys got hurt. And then we just started doing our short passing game and not running the ball. And everyone just said, oh, like they're not going to throw the ball past 10 yards past the line of scrimmage unless it's a one-on-one jump ball. Like
Right.
just throw everyone up by the line. And like it shut everything down and nothing has changed. Like
Yeah.
we're still throwing this short shit. And like, I'm not against throwing short passes. Like dink and dunk stuff, I don't think is a bad idea, but you have to be able to scheme up